Hi, this is Raymond from EVOffer. Today we'll show you how to do an installation for the Model Y Frunk Kit. This is our 4.1 Frunk Kit. So I'll show you the what's inside the kit. So when you open the box, you will see two Model Y struts. One is here, one is behind the foam. So two struts here. Our bracket, this is our new version of bracket, two of them. We'll show you how to install it later. A control unit and a latch motor here, and with a bag of wire. So this is basically what inside the kit. We'll walk through how to do the installation later. So for the tools, you will need a 10mm head socket. So you can use an electrical one or a manual driver. So either way should be fine. And then you need a fat head screwdriver. A small one, a thin one is better. And then the longer here is, the longer the better. It's easier to pry the strap out. Electrical tape for wrapping some wire, some cable, our emergency pull cable together with the factory one. A 30mm wrench. So shorter one is preferred, but this one is good enough. We do not have the 12mm head wrench, but any wrench that can do a 12mm nuts should be good enough. And then an Allen key or a T30 screwdriver. A low profile one is better. It's to remove the lower joint of the strut. And this one is optional for cutting the cable ties. So now we'll start to do the install. The first thing you need to do is to remove this little cover. Not a little one. So you can just simply pull it out by hand. So next you will have to remove 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you can remove the front bin. So the 4 screws are all 10mm head socket. After you remove the 4 screws, there's one little retainer here that you need to pry it out and then remove before you can remove the front bin. So this is the clip. So there are channels here for you to slide your flathead screwdriver in and rotate, and then it can be loosened. After 4 screws are removed and the retainer here is removed, we can pull this out. When you take out the front bin, here you need to disconnect the connector from the button. Then in case you have a mid-2021 Model Y or after, you will have this HEPA filter, and you need to remove the HEPA filter as well. So there are only 2 10mm like screws, one in both sides, that you need to remove. And one in here. So after that, you can just pull this out. Okay, now we will remove this latch by removing this 2 10mm head socket, head screw, by using the socket. But we need to mark the existing location with some masking tape. So we will tape it around the latch. So when we install this back, we know how to align the latch properly. So just to avoid extra need to realign the latch after we put everything back together. So I will just use 4 tape to tape around the edge of the latch. Then we can do the removal of the latch afterwards. So you can see now I'm taping around the edge, just make a mark here. So after it's done, now let's try to remove this connector. So you pull this out, but after it's unlocked, pull and then press down, and then you can remove it. So pull outward and then press downward, and then you can pull it. So now let's try to remove the latch. So this is the factory latch, and this is our mechanism. So before you hook it in, we will try to align it first. So just align it like this, and then you can see this is our attachment mechanism. So try to see how far it is. So now you can see this wire is longer than required. So we will need to adjust this wire a little bit. So to shorten the wire here, because you need to see that the wire need to be shortened a little bit. So we'll just adjust these two nuts to make it shorter. So to shorten it, you adjust the two nuts to the upside. So let me try to do it now. So I would just try to loosen this side and then tighten on the other side. So I think around this is right. So then I will use my wrench to tighten these two nuts. So make sure they are tight and squeezing it. I'll use the wrench here. Make sure it's tight. So now I will set it together again and see. And it should be good. Then now I'll remove the spring. To remove the spring is very easy. You push inward from here, push it, and then it can be taken out. After that, we attach our things into here. So make sure you don't push all the way in. You just have a little bit offset. It should be it's better. Otherwise, it might not be able to latch properly. So this is good, and then we'll just put the spring back. We push it here first. We will set it here, and then we will just push it down until it locks back. So this is done. After that, we will just attach this back to here. But one thing you need to be aware is this is the OEM latch, and the one behind it is our mechanism. Try to adjust our mechanism as down as possible. So I'll show you. So now let's try to put the things back in place. I'll get my screws. Just try to do this. So let me try to see. So this one is good. So make sure our latch is in a comparably downward position compared to the latch, and then we'll tighten this. So after we install the latch back, we'll take out our wire. So there are a couple of wires here. This is a power tapping wire. I'll put it near the 12-volt battery first. And then there are two more wires. This one, the smaller one, this is what we call the signal harness. So we'll do this connection now. But let's try to go through all the wires first. This is what we call the major harness. It connects to the ECU. So we'll talk about this later. And there's one more buzzer inside the back which we'll connect at last. So let's start with our signal harness. We'll start with this blue connector pair first. So this one will go to the factory latch motor, so which is located on the right side of the car. So you can only see one motor here. So we'll just disconnect this connector. So what I do is pull this up, and then pull it out. Now I'll connect it to our connector pair. So this is very critical, because if you fail to reconnect this back into the car and then you accidentally close the frunk, your frunk will not be able to open. So make sure you do this connection, and then we'll teach you how to test the unlatch later. So you will see another connector pair will connect to the latch. So take out the connector that was connected to the factory latch, and then just connect it to our pair, and then on the other side just connect back to the latch here. So there's one more connector nearby, which is this one. We'll connect it to our micro switch here. So now all the signal is connected, and then this one is the remaining connector. It's a 4-pin black connector. You will need to connect it to our major harness. We'll do it at the end. Yeah, we'll do it later. So now we'll do the most difficult part, which is to remove the strut from the car. So you can see the strut is here, hidden inside the car. So we'll try to remove this one first. Yeah. So it's a lot easier if you remove it from the upper joint first. So there's a channel inside. So we will use our flathead screwdriver and then just tuck it in to the channel. Yeah, so you see now it's tucked in. So I will try to remove it, but to remove it, it's better if you use one hand. I don't have my hand, so I will use my hand. So to raise up the hood a little bit, and then you can easily jiggle the strut from the ball joint. So now it's loose. After we remove the upper joint, the next one is to remove the lower joint. The lower joint is similar. There are several ways to remove it, but in order to do it like how you remove the top ball joint, you really need a very thin flathead screwdriver. I'll show you later. But in our video now, we'll use a 30 millimeters wrench to do it. So if you see here, there's a joint that hold the strut. We'll remove the joint. We will use our 30 millimeters wrench to remove this. So we are not attempting to remove the strut from the ball joint. We remove the nuts together, the joint together with the strut. So let me show you how we do it. So now we are using the wrench to loosen the joint. So after you make a few turns, you can use your hand to loosen the rest of it. We'll take out the strut from this side. So this is the thing we loosened before. The other way is to use the same trick, but our screwdriver is not thin enough. So it's the same idea. You push it here until you can get inside the channel, and then pry it out, and then you can remove it. But our screwdriver is not thin enough, so we use another way, which is to loosen this whole thing, and then we can take this out. So next we will install the bracket for the lower support joint. So this is always facing downward, and then this is always facing upward, so you can easily tell which one is which side. So this one goes to this here, and then we will have the screws for you. You can use an Allen hex key to tighten it, or a T30 can do the job as well. So let me try to fix it here. So now you can see that our bracket is installed. We use the existing screw holes to screw in our screw. So now you can install we are doing the installation of the strut later. So now let's try to move to the other side of the car first. The reason for that is if you install this strut, and then it will make the removal of the other strut a lot more difficult. So we'll remove the top joints of the other strut first, and then we'll fix this strut. So now the left side of the car, we have removed the strut. So before we put the new strut on, it's better if you can remove the top joint of the strut here before we put in the strut, because if you put the strut on here, you will make the removal of this strut a lot more difficult. So it's better if we remove both strut and then we set the strut back in to the left side. Often the times, the right side of the car has a much more limited space. So we have two tricks to share to you. One is to remove the retainer in here, so it will help with the space, and the other one is to use this thing. So if you found that the space is too tight, you can always loosen this retainer here. Sorry. It will give you more room to access the area. Yeah, so you can pull it up a little bit and then do your work from here. So when you putting your hand inside, this part will usually scratch it, and this is the result of it. Yeah, so to prevent it, you can use a foam. This is in our kit, so you can just put it here and then work your hand here. This will offer a lot of protection to avoid your hand being scratched. So this is the trick to share with you when you do the strut installation. So for the right side, it's the same. Use your head to push up the hood, and jiggle the strut, and then it will go out easily. So now the hood is set free. It doesn't have any strut on it. Now we'll go back to here to install our strut. Okay, let's try to put this in. I would just try to slide the strut inside first. I found that easier if you can start with the top joint first. So I will try to do the top joint first. So I will just set it here and then secure the top joint, so it's secured. Now I can do the bottom joint. So you need to feel it. Okay, so now it's secured. Make sure it's secured. And then now we will do the removal of the bottom joint on the other strut, and then do the same thing as what we do in here. So when we do the right strut, make sure that when you install it, it's clear of the wire, the cable or wire. So this one sometimes will block the way, so set it aside. Make sure you got everything clear in this area, so that when the strut goes down, it will not block by any wire. So then we'll do the install here. Yeah. So now the two struts have been installed. One thing we need to check is to check if the strut is doing good. So we will do the manual operation and see if it's working fine. So don't latch it, just make it stay in here. It's good. So we open it and then continue our installation now. So now we will try to tap the power. So you squeeze here. Yeah, let me use my both hands. So squeeze it and then pull up. And then there are 2 points to access it. One is here, one is here. We recommend this one because it's behind the sensor. It's a lot better if you do the tapping in this location. So loosen it and then do our tapping. This is our power tapping wire. So just tap it like this and then tighten it back. So then you just put it back. So if your car has a HEPA filter, we recommend to put the ECU in this area. And if your car doesn't have it, we recommend put it here. But in case you have the HEPA filter, we'll teach you how to run this wire. So we'll set the wire here. And then we'll run this and the ground with the gold space plate to the front through this little gap. So, and we will take the black connector from the signal wire and we'll fit it to here and then do the connection. Next, we'll do the strut connection cable, which you can connect it in here. So they always come with a pair, so just make sure you connect it right. Sometimes, if you feel that it's very difficult to push in this, try to align this 2 pin towards this direction. Yeah, use the flathead screwdriver to pry it up a little bit. That often helps if you find that it's very difficult to squeeze it in, but this one is fine. So now we'll take our ground, which is this one. You can do anywhere, but this is the best location, I think. And tighten the ground. Next, we will connect this to the latch motor. Make sure it clicks. So there are multiple places you can set it as long as it's secured, but we think that this is the best location. This is the emergency pull wire which we will run later, but I will just try to set it here, this cavity, and with the latch motor goes inside, and then we just put it here. Then we use some cable tie to tie it against some major wire here. We'll show you later. Then it will be secured. Then we'll run this emergency pull cable to this little cap. To remove this cap is very easy because for the Model Y, you can easily feel it from behind. You can just push it from the back towards the outside. But push it from the 10 o'clock position. Don't push it from here, because you see, if you push it from here, it cannot be open. Just try to push it from here. So now, we'll run our wire. To here. And then use our electrical tape just to wrap together with the jump start cable. So in here, I want to talk more about this emergency pull wire. So the emergency pull wire will not open your frunk. So a lot of people think pulling this will open the frunk, but it won't. It only releases our latch motor. So a lot of people wonder, when would this be useful? It's only useful when the latch motor got stuck. So we will show you how our latch motor works, and I will explain when this cable will have its use. But let's try to set it back here first. And then now, with this, goes to the 2 o'clock position. Now we will just set the cap back. So you can see we set our latch motor here. We tied it together with this thing. There's a reason why we recommend here. So this is the latch wire. It will go to here and to here. So this is a very backup case. In case everything else fail, our latch wire, our emergency pull wire fail, everything fail, and you still have a way to cut this wire from behind the wheel well, because this area is very accessible. So you can just cut it here in case all our safety feature fail. So this is a safeguard if you install it in here. So that's why we recommend running in here. The last step now is to do this power connection. So take out the silver wire and disconnect the little plug from the power tapping wire. So do it like this. The U shape here align with the flat side of the connector. So it's just insert it like this. Make sure it's locked, and then connect back. For the right strut wire, we recommend to run it from behind. So I run it from here, from here, and this is where we can connect our wire. So now we will connect our buzzer. Just place it anywhere. So let me find the spot here. Just stick it in. So now we can connect our ECU. So before that, you need to unlock this connector. So there's a tab here. Just push down, and then put it back like this. And then we'll insert our ECU and then lock back in. So you can see the lights will start flashing. This is good. Yeah, if it's not flashing, then that's bad. Yeah. So now let's try to take a test run first before we clean up everything. Before you do the test run, there's a little bit more tests you need to do before. The first thing is the latching test. So we'll do the button here. There's a button. So try to double click it and then see if the latch here moves. So double click fast. So it's good. So it doesn't do the full latch. You can try to take a look in your car after you do the double click test. Let me try to do it again. You will either do this or do a half latching. But in either case, when you go back to the car after you do this test, you will see that the front status remains opened from the graphics. So that is good. Then we will do our second stage of the test. So now we will do our second stage of the test. So here on the latch, you can see that there's a lever arm thing. When I push down, it will engage the button. So try to push down and then do the double click test again. So I'll do the double click. So you will hear 2 click sounds, and the latch is fully latched, as you can see from here. But you can double confirm from the car. On the touchscreen, it will show that the frunk is closed. So let's try to see. So now you can see the frunk is closed, which is good. So the 2 tests is completed. Now only the unlatched test is needed. Then we can do a test run. After the 2 tests, now you can try to open the frunk from here. There's a button that you can press to open the frunk. So try to listen if you hear 2 unlatched sound. You can hear it, right? So it should be good. So let's try to check the latch also. Now you can see that the latch is completely unlatched. This thing is out. When it's latched, it looks like this. So when it's unlatched, these things go back up. So the hood can go down. So now we have to do the unlatched test. It's all good. So we can do a test run. Try to unlatch it again from inside the car. So the latch is unlatched now. We can do our test run now. So to do the test run, we need to initialize the system. So there's a button here. We need to hold it until we hear a beep. And then let go. So now the frunk is ready to be tested. To do the closing test, you can use the car screen, you can use the key fob, you can take out the button and then we connect it to here and try to click it. We'll use the key fob. It's good. So make sure it closes completely and then try to open it again. Everything looks good. One thing I want to show you as well. A lot of people, after they install, they said the hood is slightly lower than the fender here, which is normal because you haven't installed the front bin back. After you install front bin, you will go put this back to level with the fender. So now everything is done. We have finished testing. Everything is good. We can tie this ECU together with this wire here, and then just tidy up the rest of the cable using the cable tie provided, and then you are good to go. So now we have tidied up and then try to install everything back. Remember to connect the power the button again. So when you install it back, try to align the screw hole here. Yeah, and it's good. Then there's a tab here, and then just slightly push on it, and then it will lock. The installation is now completed. It took us about 45 minutes to do the whole installation. For the first time installation, if you do it the first time, I think it will take you around 2 hours to do that. The most difficult part is to do the strut removal, but you can see from our video it's still very manageable. You can see that we use a very simple list of tools. So I hope you like our installation video, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.